PKN 362. Taylor, you are our fact checker, our research extraordinaire.
As always.
You are an unstumpable resource on the Wings band Twitch partnership thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I've been looking into this for the better part of 20 minutes now. And
Well, hang on. Can I just lay out?
Yeah.
Wings got banned from Twitch. Now
he not banned. He lost his partnership. So like,
I like it my way better.
Well, he didn't get totally banned. But like, basically, if you lose your partnership, the same thing that happened to Destiny when he came on and was like, yeah, so I can't get like subs. There's no sub button anymore. Wings said on Twitter that was about half of his total income that he just lost overnight from that. And so he's already switched to streaming on YouTube. I think he's live right now. YouTube, as you know, if you stream, is way less monetizable and it's less intuitive to donate and do things like that. So like if you want to make good money on streaming, like Twitch really is, they're optimized for it.
Can we pause on that? Why is YouTube less profitable than Twitch? Like it sounded like you're saying stream size for stream size, it's still less profitable.
The Amazon Prime subs are huge. Everyone who has Amazon Prime gets that. I like when I'm streaming regularly, hundreds of my subs every month are just people being like, oh, $5, to throw to him every month, like for free to me because I get it through Amazon Prime. Boom.
Can I? For people who don't know how this works, probably most of you do, but I like to give people background. If you already have Amazon Prime, then you get one free Twitch sub. And Taylor was saying a lot of people just toss that his way. So Taylor, normally you pay $5 to sub for someone, and Taylor would get $2.50 and Twitch would get $2.50. With Amazon Prime, Taylor gets $2.50, but it doesn't cost you the $5. Carry on.
Yeah, and that additional thing means that hundreds of people watching you, if you have a significant audience like Wings does, can all just be like, yeah, I would never take $5 out of my account for this guy every month, but as long as this is free, fuck it. Like I'll throw it his way. And those really add up if there's a couple hundred of those people.
Yeah.
And so basically he tweeted out that he got in trouble for part D of the user content, which is under promotions. And I was reading it and it's talking about how like you can do promotions and say like you're getting a sponsorship or you're giving away something, but you have to be explicit saying that like, this is a promotion being done by me for XYZ company. Twitch has nothing to do with this. They're not a part of it. And then they make sure that you handle it. Something else I saw, and I don't know enough about him. Like it doesn't seem like he runs promotions or like things like that often. So I can't imagine what that would be. I saw someone else mention that in the past he's done, he's had people pay for unbans. And that is against terms of service. So like if I ban someone from my channel and they message me saying, dude, $50, your PayPal right now if you unban me, like that guy, and if I say yes, that guy could report me and I could get my partnership taken away.
Zach is saying that it's from the FPS boot camp and from the surgery that he's banned. I guess like talking about both of those things in some way. So I guess the real message here is you're welcome.
Zach, can you expand on that? He's saying it's the FPS boot camp and the surgery. Why would that be a ban or a loss of partnership?
Yeah, I don't know either. Of course, this is coming from Wings' mouth, so
yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but I mean, like, dude, that's like, I feel really bad for the guy.
Can I interrupt? It looks like he raised money for FPS Bootcamp and he raised money for the surgery. And he was complaining about the begging for donations for those. That Zach's phrasing is
confusing.
I would like a paragraph. Your sentence fragments are hints, and I appreciate them. But we do know that he did a lot sort of fundraising drives. I guess the boot camp was from PKA, but the surgery was on Twitch.
Yeah, I just to be clear, Kitty set up a whole Kickstarter for him, and then we handed him a check for $10,000 roughly. Like, so I don't know. I don't know how he's like.
And even raising money for the surgery, I don't get why that wouldn't be allowed, because you can go to 1 million streamers and it will legit say at the bottom, $5,000 goal for new epic PC set or whatever it is.
Yeah,
so like,
I raised money
so I could go on
vacation.
You raised money for that one gentleman to buy himself a sex toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of that.
I don't know what we're talking about.
I believe
No, you had that fundraiser so that that guy could buy that $1,000.
Oh yeah.
Let's leave that out there with no context. Let's.
Perfect.
I was going to explain how I did that. Right.
I don't
100% accurate. I'm not twisting any facts.
These are facts. This is the no spin zone.
Thank you.
I don't know what the hell the real reason is behind it. Like, it is odd that sometimes these like bands will be like, someone, this guy did something in 2014, or this person did something in 2017, and it's like, okay, so they just had you in their sights, and they decided now's the time, and they just kind of backwards rash, because they can ban anyone at any time for any reason. They don't have to give you any explanation at all.
Right.
I bet Wings probably knows more about it than he's saying, or maybe he didn't. I don't know. He made a 16-minute video. I only got a couple minutes in. I watched a different guy's recap, but yeah, he even said on Twitter, he's like, I lost half my income because of this, and I have to decide if I even want to continue working online or not. And it's like, but even so, because of the amount of time he's spent out of the traditional workforce, like, this is probably his best option. Like, as far as like, what could he really do?
If Wings delivers my DoorDash, I'm like, how many fries were in here when you picked it up?
The little security seal.
This looks like 2/3 of a fry.
You think that's
he does that move where he takes one slice out of the pizza and then shifts them all back together?
Can you do that?
Yeah, to make a slightly smaller pizza. He's got the sauce on his face when he comes to the door.
Making a slightly smaller pizza with a bunch of gaps like in between it. How would that work?
No, you pull the slice out and then you like
apparently
shift everything back together.
Circle out of
you just push everything a little closer.
That is not how pizza works.
Yeah, it is. You need an X-Acto knife.
You're going to have to re-angle all the slices.
Yeah, of course you're going to have to re-angle all the slices. You can't just eat one whole slice. You have to take a little from every one.
It's like when you like shave too much of your beard and you have to keep going up until it's just a teeny little pie.
Yeah, I know exactly how that is. That's what happened this week.
I was going to say, you look fresh-faced. You look young. You look good. What made you do that? Was it
It was a fucking accident. I have a digital thing and it's got a memory mode and it's like, let's go to setting number 1. And instead it was like, you want it all off, huh? And I had already gone like, and I had like shaved half my face. So
is it broken? So the reading doesn't represent the link?
No.
Or you just didn't look at it carefully?
I just did not operate it professionally.
Because mine broke in that way. We used to have the same one.
Oh,
do you use the Noreco?
It's
green.
Well, no, mine is
one blade or one.
My current one is black and like shiny with a digital display. I've got a couple, but the one that I used that did this was the black shiny one. I think it's either a Philips Norelco or a Simmons. I don't know. I've got a couple of them that are like roughly the same price point, somewhere between $75 and $125.
The Norelco is pretty nice. I like for a cheap thing. I like that a lot. I
think it's green, like by the blade, right? Like a little green highlight. Yeah. I think I have that as well. So I got the one Kyle suggested. I loved it for a while. The depth is set with this like digital display, and it's in millimeters. You want 0.5 millimeter, you want 7 millimeters, whatever. And it got to be that the display and the depth didn't match up anymore. And the only settings that worked were all or nothing. And it just didn't work for me. It broke. So now I got the other one and I like it.
Yeah.
It's simple. Almost can't break. And the Twitch world all pointed me to it. I was like, guys, I need a new one. Like, what do I get? The chat just starts streaming with the same answer. I'm like, oh my gosh, unbeknownst to me. Like everyone learned a couple of things, like which beard trimmer to get and maybe the electric slide. And then I'm left out in the cold, not knowing either of them. But now I know.
Yeah. Well, I was officially endorsed the Noreco one blade.
I don't know why there's no way it's Noreco.
Isn't that what it is?
There is an L in it.
There's absolutely an L in there.
Like, that's not the one I have.
What was that word that somebody was saying? Oh, who was it that couldn't say? Oh, it's Dean. Dean can't say Tylenol.
Well, how does he say it?
Instead?
He leaves the L out. It's Tylenol.
The L is one of the easy ones to hit in that word. Tylenol.
You would think so, and then you say Noreco.
Norelco. Okay. You act like I left out the L because I couldn't pronounce it. It's because I forgot. I didn't know the name of the brand.
That one's pretty much the one I have. Mine's just slightly different. I linked it in Amazon. Zach can share.
Yeah, this looks like the new gen. This is nicer than mine.
Maybe that's the
This
difference.
one has a dial, just one head that you dial in. Yeah,
mine also has a dial.
Oh, well, then I have the old one. Either way, it's good. But yeah, I feel pretty bad for Wings with the Twitch loss of partnership. I imagine he's
that looks nice.
Going through a pretty rough time right now.
The number, Kyle, is the battery charge, not the depth.
I feel you. My battery lasts so goddamn long. Like I feel like it charges twice a year.
I don't know. I store it on the charger. That's a thing I like. The other one, I store it on the charger because it feels organized, right? Instead of one that like lays down and you charge it now and then. I like it to have a spot.
Yeah, I only like trim up like once a week normally, so I just keep it in a drawer. But I'm sure I know you do that. You shave a lot, so like it makes sense.
I don't even know if it's that I shave a lot. All my shit should have a place. I'm big on that. I haven't lost a tool in 15 years. Like my shit goes right back where it belongs, and that's why I like my shavers.
It's very Hank Hill of you. I like that.
Is it? I didn't know.
He never loses a tool. Like they all have like dust surroundings on the pegboard. He like removes them like all the same place. Yeah. Kyle, I finally gave that show a watch. I guess both of you guys were talking about a while ago. Love, Death, Robots.
Yeah,
I swear you watched season 2.
So I found out that I just hit start on the top of the list, assuming the topic it goes down. No, I saw like a few of the old, the new season rather, and I was like the whole time I'm like, this is one of the worst shows I've ever seen. Like, what am I missing that Kyle and Woody like? The giant who washed up on the beach, and then
that's the one that I told Woody not to watch. It was so bad.
Then there's that gay doctor who's just so fascinated with him, talking about him rotting, and now he wants to walk on his hands and like touch his nose. And it's like I kept waiting for something to be revealed, for something to happen.
At first, and it just come back to life, and then he just rots more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then it just ends.
It was horrible. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't fun. It wasn't even the premise to a story.
The first season's so much better. Now, let me ask you, what am I the ones in season 2? Season 2 is mostly a bomb. But there was one where all the kids were like genetically modified and they do these amazing gymnastic stunts and taunt a monster or something, busting through the ice. I'm sure I've got this about 1/3 right, at least.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one. And
that was okay.
It's funny you said you liked that one because that was the second one, because I guess it's the second most recent episode that it went to. And the animation is so jarringly bad that I got about 2 minutes in and I'm like, I can't watch this. I absolutely can't watch this low quality of animation. If this was a video game, they wouldn't release it. And like so I skipped that one, and then I saw like the giant one. I started skipping around, and then I texted you guys and was like, "This show fucking blows, man! Like, what are the good episodes?" And Kyle was like, "Suits" and something else and something else.
Beyond the Aquila Rift.
I remember Suits because that was the one I liked the most, with like the futuristic farmers wearing their cool mechs and shooting all the bugs, and it was like, okay, that one's better because it told the whole story in the 12 minutes. It didn't tell part of a premise like the giant one. A couple of the space ones were neat, but overall, like even season 1, it was more misses than hits, I feel.
Suits?
Oh,
like
you're on your own on that one.
I walked into Suits thinking that, well, these people are like killing prairie dogs. You know, they routinely win this battle all the time. Oh no. This is a tough battle, and it doesn't go all that well. It is like fucking heavy shit starts going down, and it was good. I like it.
Yeah, I think season 1 is, for me, season 1 is like almost all hits. Like there's like maybe 2 misses in all of season 1. I like the, like there's a vampire episode. I like the episode where like that girl is some sort of a like steampunk like fox sex toy. I like that. I love that one. I know that sounds absurd, but that's literally what she becomes. She becomes like a steampunk fuck toy. It's like half fox. It's awesome. And
is that beyond the samurai guys chasing her around when she's like the demon?
Yeah. I like Beyond the Aquila Rift a lot though. That one is, first of all, those animated titties are just perfection. All right, those are some incredible titties.
You aren't turned off by like the uncanny valley face movements and like corner of mouth. Like I don't like the video game faces in a lot of them. There's just something odd about like their foreheads don't wrinkle, their eyebrows don't move naturally. Like you can tell, like
it
from
looks
the distance,
really
like,
close.
There's something wrong about that. And then like any sort of close up, you're like, oh, that's what it is. This is like when it's 99% of the way to getting to the cutscene after you're transitioning from the gameplay.
Well, I'm not going for realism. Like I view it as animation. There's only a couple of them that are meant to be like that are like hyper realistic, and they're both in season 2. In season 2, there's one where this guy is on another planet and he's like an albino who can regrow limbs, and that one is incredible animation. Like there are several parts of it where I'm like, oh shit, this is real. Or they filmed like the outside part as real shit, and then they like animated characters into it. Or wait. Are they just using real characters and just like animating over their faces, like that Keanu Reeves movie, Scanner Darkly, I think?
Yeah.
And then there's another one with Michael B. Jordan where he's like some sort of a like Starship Trooper pilot or some shit fighting some giant alien Goliath ship thing, like with a whole squadron, and his ship crash lands on an asteroid, and he's running out of oxygen and he's a little bit injured, and he like jumps in this life pod. And inside the life pod, like the maintenance drone is malfunctioning to the point where it views him as an enemy. And so he is like,
yeah, I saw that.
He's having to like sit. You saw that one?
That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one.
The animation in that looks super hyper realistic.
One that like I looked at the list of episodes trying to be like, okay, there's no way I hated all of them. One that you didn't mention that I liked a lot was The Dump. That like man who lives in the shit pile, and he has like the auditor, whoever, government agent coming, and there's that big trash monster. It was goofy and off the wall, but like the animation matched the vibe. So I liked that one. It was a cool little premise.
I haven't seen it in a couple years. Like I had a friend over a month ago or something. Whenever I like started talking about it again, actually like not too long after season 2 came out, and I was talking about it. And instead of watching season 2, I was like, let me just show you season 1. And we watched like 2 or 3 of my favorite episodes from season 1. But yeah, I think it's really fucking good. I like the quick episodes. There's one where this guy is like chasing a girl through the streets or something like that from building to building, and it's like there's like a time loop going on. That one's really good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like
I like almost all of them.
Commit a murder, and she tries to track him down, and then she kills him in the end out of self-defense, and then she notices he caught her killing him, and she has to catch him. And yeah, that was interesting. And I liked the kind of silly futuristic makeup and aesthetic of it.
And then there's one where there's like 3 little robots that are like Pixar robots, and they're like traveling together, and like the humans are all gone, and like they're like in New York City or something, like going down the street, and they're like, yes, this is where the humans used to live. Yes, and as you can see here, this is a dibbly-doo. The humans used it to wash themselves, and it's like a telephone or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like they're like trying to like pontificate about like humanity, and
they're like piecing it together with very little requisite knowledge for what things do.
Yeah. No, I dig it a lot, but if you started with season 2, I could see where you were like, the fuck am I watching? As soon as you were like, this like dead giant on the beach, what the fuck is? I'm like, you're on season 2. You're on season 2. You have fucked up. You have fucked up.
Well, I blame their system. You don't start from the most recent episode. You start from the first.
If you think that system is ridiculous, for season 1, they had this thing where no one saw the same episode as their first episode. I mean, some people basically it played on shuffle for everybody. Like when you pressed play on season 1, it went shuffle, and so we all saw different episodes. So people would be like, "Hey, did you see episode 1?" They're like, "Yeah, with that space travel shit, that was nuts, right?" They're like, "No, I saw the 3 little Pixar robots. My person was the 3 little Pixar robots." And so I was like trying to talk to other people, and they're like, "No, episode 1 is with Dracula." I'm like, "No." They've got the shit on shuffle.
Oh,
that's weird.
An interesting way to do it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But
they should put other shows on shuffle just to fuck with you. Like Game of Thrones.
Oh God. Yeah, you start with the last episode. Everybody's like, you know what? don't think I'm coming back.
Do you a favor.
No, you like start the last episode.
Stories. Why am I watching this horseshit?
if you started on the last episode with seeing nothing else there, you'd be like, wow, what a bunch of action. I can't wait to see all the reasons that this happened.
Actually, yeah, if you started with the last episode, you'd be like, this is a badass show. I bet they did a really good job at like getting to this point. I bet it all makes sense.
Why'd that little girl kill the Iceman? I can't wait to see that long build.
They must have had a rivalry.
Yeah, that wasn't the last episode, but that's what jumped out at me as being the worst part of the last couple episodes, where it was like, this just doesn't make any sense. John's supposed to kill him. In a real battle, not in a sneak attack.
You know, even the actor like who plays John, that's exactly what he was like. I was supposed to kill the Ice King. I don't know what happened. it's like, yeah, man, we know.
Yeah, we're all on your team here, man.
I want the Ice King to win. It would be neat if just one of these times it didn't wrap up in the predictable way.
That would have been a better ending. If the Ice King had just won. And they had all turned to like blue-eyed fucking Ice King people, or whatever the fuck. I don't even remember what they're called anymore, and I'm glad I don't.
Dead characters come back, and you realize they're Ice Kings.
I don't remember what they're called anymore.
White Walkers.
They don't.
Yeah, White Walkers. Yeah, I have forgotten that, and I'm glad I have forgotten it. Yeah, fuck that show. I got out of the shower today, and I thought about how angry I am. I think about it. It's like one of those like awful memories that you've got. There's like 8 of them that we have all got. It's like, this is one of mine. This
I'm getting there with Stormlight Archives. I was thinking about it. Stormlight Archives, dude. The motherfuckers got one idea. There's this concept of Stormlight, which is like mana, and it gives our regular dudes turned flying superheroes with magical swords and shields and plates and fucking shit.
It's like a magical world.
It's their mana. All right. All they ever do is run out of mana again and again and again. This is the most like come up with another goddamn plot device. There are 4 50-hour books. This is 200 hours of content. This is like watching 8 seasons of Game of Thrones 4 times. And it's just like, well, I'm a little low on mana. I'm concerned about being low on mana. And it's just again and again and again. It's like, dude, another fucking. I'm listening to Stormlight Archives at this point out of sheer discipline to finish the 4th book.
Just give yourself a break and you'll want to listen to it again. But like, I don't mind that. Like I like that it's a realistic downside of it constantly, that it's not just like they have powers and they have them always and they just always will have these things. Like I like that they have to time it out. They have more stringent limitations than like an actual superhero would, that if they don't have that Stormlight, like they're just a guy, like for the most part, who's like famous in the world. But like, so I enjoyed the
Give us
limitation.
A nice Clash of the Titans. Give us a good like Kaladin with fucking bucket loads of Stormlight and some barrels behind him just in case, going up against this Radiant who knows what the fuck, and they're clashing and the thunder's clapping and this is happening, and it, like, let's go balls to the wall with this thing instead of constantly.
Finished book 3? You're done with book 3?
Yeah.
Okay, well then there was the huge battle at the end of that went on for like 60 pages. That was.
He does do battles well.
I
don't even know what he's saying half the time, and I'm completely invested. Yeah, he's just like, Kaladin struck wind stance and then realized because he's in a hallway environment, wind stance was not the appropriate way to handle this. Now he's on to like horse stance or something, and I'm like, horse stance, good choice.
I also would have picked that.
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. All I'm taking away is that this guy's well trained for every situation, and that he's moved from the spear to the sword to this, that he has a it's called a spren, which apparently is like an angel, but more of a faggot, but it can also turn into like various weapons.
It's a good explanation.
and it can turn into weapons. So like in mid-fight, if you're like 8 feet from me, it's a spear and I'm poking at you. Then you get too close and it turns into a dagger. And then as you back away a little bit, it's a sword. And he's just describing these fights and all this stuff that's happening, and dude, Dude, I just endure this book as we go from sword fight to sword fight.
You just want to get to sword fight. I mean, the sword fights are great, and unlike like Lord of the Rings or even Game of Thrones, like he'll get like literally, Kyle, like 40 pages into the same fight. And it's like, this is outrageous. This guy's fighting. That guy's fighting. This guy died. That guy's almost dead. And then it's like, and the sun began to go down. Now the real fighting begins. And it's like 50 more pages. Like, good Lord. The last 100 pages of every book is just 100% climax, which I like a lot.
That can't be, because he reads the fucking potions out of the appendix in the audio version. I've stopped listening to it. I'm like, I skipped
the potion section. I tried to read it, and I was like, I will cross this bridge when I come to it. I seriously doubt that it. Like, this was my thought process. At the end of the first book, I was reading some of the potions, and I was like, number one, I feel like I'm studying now. Number two, like, there is no way that it's going to be like, and I used the juniper berry potion, or Kaladin used the juniper potion, which you will need to see Appendix 1A to know. And it was like, he's going to explain what it is, so I don't really need to know the depth of it.
It seems like a lot of fantasy books, and I enjoy them too. They're really about the lead up to the fight, and then the fight can be a bit of a disappointment. In this series, everything's a disappointment except the fight. He really nails the fighting itself.
Well, the fighting is one of the best parts of it. All the action, he describes it really. He's good at describing it and helping you picture it. But I like the character development and the plot build up too. I really enjoy that. There's a couple characters that I'm bored by or not as interested in, but for the most part, I like all of them. Like Dalinar and Adolin and Kaladin and all the Dins and even Shallan, Jasna, they're all good. Lift, that little girl, she sucks. She is not interesting.
What? She just like, she's a superhero who uses her powers to steal food like some sort of Disney character.
Yeah, she's just a really effective vagrant.
Yeah, I don't get her.
Her power is just not impressive, where it's like, I can slide around really quick and you can't hold on to me. And it's like the one time that they called on her, like, hey, we might need you in this situation, she went head to head with someone who had the same power as her on the other team, except was really good at it. Yeah, and just blew her out of the water, and she had to be like, someone else with better powers, you need to assist me. Her
powers are those of Aladdin before he met the genie. That's what she can do.
She's a street rat.
She is a street rat. And like, some of that dialogue that's something that I'll say. Wit, who is like the king's wit, who's a very interesting character. He's interesting. And Shallan, they're both interesting, and some of their dialogue is good, but a lot of their dialogue, especially together, is so like, there's so much exposition, there's so much like intentional wordplay. You generally don't have like important like back alley conversations by the paragraph, making like clever jibs and jabs. And it's like, okay, well, this is not realistic for the scenario you're in. If you're having dinner at your little palace, have your back and forth. If you're preparing for battle, don't do that.
It's Gilmore Girls with magic.
No, you know what it is? To me, their dialogue is like when Littlefinger or who's the bald eunuch dude, Varys. Yeah. Their dialogue is on that level to me. It's all sort of clever second meanings, wise observations. This guy Wit is some sort of god who's 1,000 years old or something, and he just has a lot of good insight, and he views all of today's drama, kingdoms rising and falling, through a different lens because he's so old.
Anytime Littlefinger was on screen, I was interested, and I was like, oh, I need to pay attention. Littlefinger say he's plotting. Come on. Littlefinger's plotting.
Right. He's always manipulating
because he was the catalyst for the entire story, essentially. Like he did the whole thing. He's the problem. He's the fucking problem that started all this, just because he wanted to fuck Katniss, and she's not even that hot anymore.
and Katniss, you're probably right. That's also the name of a Hunger Games character, so I'm mixed up.
Oh, but you know what? It's impossible that they have the same name.
Is it Catelyn?
I know he called her Cat.
In Game of Thrones,
like
what's her name?
Catelyn, yeah.
Catelyn Stark. Okay, yeah. I got cat piss ever did. Yeah, that's
anyway, yeah, maybe I'm giving it too hard a time, but yeah, I turned it off on my drive home. I was like, you know what? That's all I can take.
That's all I can handle of this right now.
I need a break from this book.
Yeah, I'm done with my break. I think I'm gonna jump back in to book 4 tonight. No, I've taken a nice long break from it, and now I know I'm gonna get to the content too quick, and then I'll be disappointed that I didn't take a longer break.
Has reading this book cost you a lot? Are you doing it when you could be streaming? Like, I'm like, I wonder if Taylor spent $25,000 reading this book.
No, it basically like my end of the night time where like I'd be, watching a movie or watching TV. I just substitute that with reading instead. And it's like, which it does. That's not even like I'm sacrificing watching shows, because like so much of the time now I'll scroll through, and I'm like, there's nothing that I want to watch on any of these apps. Well, I could rewatch something. No, I'll enjoy like the new book content I have for me. I'll put on like a background show and then read that. Or I'll put on some relaxing music, which is probably healthier for me than having Family Guy playing at low volume in the background, being distracting. Or either that, or it's making me smarter because I'm learning to absorb the book and Family Guy jokes at the same time.
And you spell well.
Spell all the useful traits of the modern American male.
People would grade you by, like, if you spell something wrong, everyone thinks you're stupid.
You know what?
That is true.
What Dirty misspelled one time in our poker chat?
What do you got?
Oh, that's a good one to misspell. Getting illiterate wrong.
And it's spelled phonetically, so there's no excuse.
He only used one L.
He's quite the fool.
Quite the fool indeed.
But he's up on money in poker, as are you. So I'm sure that soaks up a lot of that.
I think he's doing pretty well on their trip. Like a bunch of our $50 patrons all went on a vacation to Detroit, to where one of them lives, and I think it's Antagonist and fucking Dirty and Fish and Cello and Alexander. I'll probably leaving somebody out.
The $50 hangout was last weekend, and Dirty was just eviscerating some guy.
Oh.
And I wanted to jump in and moderate it, but like my connection wasn't good enough. If people don't know, there was a scheduling conflict, and Taylor was unavailable next weekend, and I was unavailable last weekend. So I attended the best I could while I was unavailable. It's going in and out of the woods via a cell phone. Okay. I pop in, and Dirty is like, I hate you. I tried to turn over a new leaf and be nice to people, but I can't imagine being nice to you. The moment you said you got a big boy job working with Magic the Gathering, it was done for. And do you remember more of his?
It was more monologue? Like it was like.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be like. First of all, the guy's being tongue in cheek saying "big boy job." Do you think he's being genuine?
I thought he was. So I'm making this up. It has no basis in anything factual. But when I heard big boy job, I thought, oh, I bet he got health insurance at this job. That was my assumption.
There's no way he's getting health insurance working at a Magic the Gathering store.
I didn't. Is that his store? Does he work at a store, or does he work?
He doesn't work for like what are they? Wizards of the Coast. He doesn't work for like Wizards of the Coast as some sort of like regional manager of faggotry. Like he
it's a cool game and you like it.
I like it. I like playing with you. I would play a game. I would play
my business card.
I would play a game called Faggots of Catan with you if that's what you wanted to play.
It's also a fun game.
You gotta get it. You've got to rim the sphincter first, and then we can intrude.
You suck my dick, and I'll give you 2 wheat.
Right. God, not again! How much wheat does it take to win? 10,000 wheat.
Does mana come out of this?
You're gonna be eating a lot of dick.
Yeah, it's but he works at like a card shop, is my understanding. And look, it's fine. When you work at a card shop, I'm not shitting on anybody's fucking profession or their job. He looked like a very young man.
Almost all these people are young.
Yeah, it's every now and then you're like the one guy you're like, oh yeah, what are you like 50? And the guy's like, I am 27. it's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's been a rough 27 years, eh?
My favorite part of the hangout this past one was everybody showing their soup cans, because apparently there was a challenge of squeeze a Campbell's soup can as hard as you can and try and get it to burst with your grip strength and nothing more, with just one hand. And Kyle and everybody else, like Kyle got further than anybody else in the Discord. And then Nolan, who is an absolute monster. Come on.
I'm squeezing it so goddamn hard.
I know,
I'm squeezing it so fucking hard.
Contact Juju, you need grip genie.
You didn't see it, Woody, but this guy, he led up to it. Like he's a soft-spoken, gentle giant kind of guy. And like Dirty was being a dick to him or something. And Nolan was like smiling along. And somehow it came up that like this guy benches 405 pounds for reps. And I was like, are you being serious? Like if you're not into weightlifting and you're a natural lifter like this guy, like that's a strength level that most people cannot hit naturally. It's an unnatural level of strength. And he just heard on the lark, he's like, oh, you guys are doing a grip Campbell soup can thing? I think I have soup. And you could tell he knew he could do it because he came back with the can and a plastic bag. And then he reached his hand down for...
It's the kind you use a can opener on. He's still
he just grabbed it down there. And it was... how long was it, Kyle? 2 seconds? He just goes... And he goes, oh, no. Oh, and he's got sauce all over his hand. And then Kyle asked later to clarify. He's like, you didn't use two hands, right? You just used one hand? Like, to be sure? And he was like, yeah, well... I did break it with one hand, but then I used the other hand to hold it and dump the stuff out so that it was more dramatic looking. And he said that like it was like an admission of a lie. It's like, no, you destroyed that with one hand and then dumped the sauce out. So shout out to Nolan on the grip strength thing. That's unbelievable. It helps that his hands look like they're the size of dinner plates. You know, that can't be harmful.
I popped in, like my stream kept coming and going because people don't know, I was on my motorcycle doing trail riding and the internet connection would be off and on, as you might expect. And I just hear, did you just break that with one hand? Did you just break that Campbell soup? Like you didn't have the floor or anything. You just kind of did it and it got noticed. Kyle texted us just now, said that his power went out. So I don't know if he's gone for the whole show or what's up with that or how it will
he
work.
said it'll take a bit for his router, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, he said Storm back now. It'll take a bit for router. Okay, so he'll be a minute.
There we go. Do you have any more trips on the horizon, or are you not tripped out yet? I feel like you're going too hard in this, just like Stormlight Archive, and before you know it, you're going to be like, I think I went too hard in the paint with the motorcycle.
This might be wise. While I was on that trip, it was just a weekend thing. If people don't know, Friday and Saturday, I rode with some friends all over everything. This dual sport thing. They're basically street legal dirt bikes. And we went on these twisty mountain switchbacks that are paved, gravel roads that are the same thing, but gravel. And then like literal hill climbs with 2-foot tall root obstacles in the middle of them. And the single track so tight, the bushes are brushing against your shoulders as you're going by, like everything from top to bottom. It was a great, great weekend. And one guy wants to do a trip. It's about 9 days long where they go from, I think, Virginia to New York via gravel roads.
Oh.
And I'm like, what's the best timing to talk to the boys, talk to my wife? Like I've only been home for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Is it better to give more notice? I think it's not. I think with Jackie, I'm going to mention this sometime in August and go in September.
Yeah. Just tell us and we won't tell her.
I had the same feeling with you guys, but you asked me about it. I was like, should I give them is it better to give them 8 weeks notice or is 4 fine? And I don't know.
The month we could get by too. Yeah. We figure it out. Can we record on Wednesday? Yes. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So it would be neat if we did a similar thing to what we did. Is it? I think it's okay to say for when you get married, where we did 2 shows in one day, and then there was a 9-day span of nothing.
Yeah,
that would be really cool.
And that wasn't. I thought the 5-hour grind was going to be a lot harder than it was. It was almost like the 1 hour for this is so easy, compared to like the 4 hour. Like you forget that like a lot of podcasts are just an hour long.
Oh my gosh. I watch a paramotor and paragliding podcast. It's an hour long, but they have like 30 minutes worth of like standard shit they do. Advertisements, giveaway, thanking sponsors and stuff. Like this thing, are you doing 25 minutes of content? Like, that is so tiny.
How much could you talk about every week though, where it's like, all right, welcome to the next episode for the 50th week in a row. No new technology on this front.
You just reeling people who almost died every week. You know?
Oh, okay. Well, that is an endless fountain.
Taylor, tell us about your near-death experience. Well,
I got into a pretty silly hobby.
It all starts here. I was talking about the leading cause of death in paramotoring. It's drowning, people landing in water. That changes sometimes. And you're like, leading cause of death. The leading cause of every sport should be cardiac arrest or heart disease or something.
Like the leading cause of death in bowling, your heart explodes spontaneously.
All right.
Same with like darts, all those bar games.
I bet the leading cause of death amongst bowlers probably is like diabetes, heart disease, something like that.
For sure. Because like who's the average guy who's really into bowling? He's older because like bowling seems to be like a little like baseball that like millennials and the younger generation just don't really give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Like
I wonder if that'll change. Like millennials are not into aviation. They're not into bowling. They're not into a bunch of things. Some of that's finance, but some of it's just, they don't think it's interesting.
Yeah. Like all sports ratings are going down. I think we saw that. And that's, I still lean that it's streaming, like instant content. Like people have gotten so into like, even now, like Amazon Prime will release a show and it's like one episode. What year do you think it is, idiot? Netflix does it all at once. Do it like Netflix. And so now like even something like a sporting event, it's like, am I going to organize my whole day around this? No, I can catch the highlights. I can, not look at my phone and rewatch it later on my own time, whatever the case may be. So I don't think it's going to get better.
The way I take in content now, I'm not conditioned to deal with all these breaks anymore. Even something like hockey, which on the spectrum is a pretty continuous sport. So shucks, there's 2 20-minute breaks between first and second and third period for people who don't watch. And then there's always stoppages. There's icing. There's scheduled commercial breaks. That's just not the Netflix or YouTube experience. It's nonstop. Just one flows into the next that flows into the next. They're never allowing you an opportunity to get away from their thing. They want you addicted. Hockey, football, you name it. It's mostly breaks, it feels like. And I don't have that kind of attention span anymore.
Yeah, I feel it. Especially football. Like hockey, that's why I do like that you get a lot of continuous play. And if it goes to a commercial, I'll just look at my phone or something. But I've been watching, and this is tangentially related to hockey, but not really about the players. Vegas, who was like known to be like this really good starter franchise, like almost won a couple cups. They're developing like a reputation now of continuously not telling their own players they've been traded until they find out about it on social media. And they've gotten away with it, just like, oh, it was a little mistake, but it's happened so many times now. And they just did it to, you probably even know who he is, Marc-Andre Fleury, who's a goalie for people out there. He was like,
it seems like an old name. He's still around.
He's only 36. That's because he was drafted like he was seen as like this guy is a for sure goalie. And so they drafted him first overall in like 2003 or something at 18. And they started his career. He's won 3 Stanley Cups. He left Pittsburgh very generously, magnanimously almost, and went to Vegas. And he's been the face of their franchise, like, because he's the most famous player there with the most cups and the most hardware. He won the Vezina last year, which is for the best goalie throughout the regular season.
That's how you pronounce that? Vezina?
I've always said Vezina in my head. Maybe it's the Vezina, but I've always said Vezina in my head.
There's a good chance I've got it wrong. Me and my pronunciations, but carry on.
But, and like he apparently towards the end of his career, he's played about, including playoff games, he's played about 1,050, little less than that, games in his career, which for a goalie is but just bananas. So ridiculous. Like if a goalie plays 400, 500 games in his career, it's like, man, that guy went for a while, huh?
For people that don't know, goalies usually don't play every game. Like they'll have scheduled rests because they play every minute when they do play.
Yeah, exactly. And they traded him to Chicago, and he didn't find out until he saw it on Twitter, like today or yesterday, that like Chicago traded for him. They gave him away for free, basically, because it was a way to clear $7 million of cap space off of the Vegas cap, because they've been having trouble. But basically, yeah, they took a guy who's been in the NHL for 18 years now, almost that long, and they traded him without even telling him. And this is like not even the third or fourth time Vegas has done this. And so like I think a lot of players are going to get pissed off by this and be more hesitant to sign there. If it's like, oh yeah, you'll sign me to a nice contract, and then I'll find out through a trending topic on Twitter that like, oh, why is my name true? Oh, I guess I'm moving to Chicago. And it was such a shock to him that he was like, I need to talk to my family and see if I'm even going to decide to continue playing in the NHL. I might just retire. Like, I've made $100 million in my career. I'm not hurting for cash. I may just fucking quit because fuck you. So I feel bad for him. That's a really disrespectful.
Especially because it's Chicago. Like if I'm him and I've got a couple cups and everything.
Oh, because they
no.
want to. Oh, okay.
It's my impression of what it's like to live in the Chicago area. It's going to be cold. It's going to be yucky. The commutes are pretty rough. It's expensive. If he got traded to Carolina, now I'm biased, but work with me. It'd be like, oh, good schools. I'm not famous anymore, which is it's famous sounds cool, but it's not. It sucks. You know, I could go shopping. Nobody knows who I am. It's just like, I don't know, brick sidewalks and golf course communities and shit. Like, okay, Carolina's not a bad place for a hockey player to live.
No, not at all. And I think another thing is like Carolina's like a really good team right now. And so it would make more sense for him. He doesn't have a lot of time left, whereas Chicago is not. And so like, is he going to join? Is he going to move to cold ass Chicago, buy a house, move his whole family there to play like a couple years for a team that's not going to do anything?
Detroit's not good either, but like there's another city where it's like, oh, you're going to have like fucking traffic jams and yucky weather. And I don't know. If I heard I got traded to Tampa Bay, again, why do all the good teams good places to live?
Yeah. But like Tampa, all their players take pay cuts. Like seemingly because they want to keep.
Do they still have a team, the Predators? Are they still going?
They do, yeah. They're not they're not very good anymore.
Well, they make it that one. If I heard I was going to Nashville, I'd be like, that might be a nice place to live. I like Nashville.
Oh yeah. Like if I were to be in the NHL, the fucking Florida Panthers, you live in Miami, no one knows who you are. And you still make a professional athlete salary.
Yes. Yeah. And where do the Florida Panthers play exactly? What city?
Miami.
Oh, cost of living's kind of high there. But
yeah, it is. But like that would be worth it. Like, would you rather play in like Edmonton? Ooh. That's so cold.
So cold. Montreal to me is the worst. It's so cold and everybody's paying attention to you. You have a bad game last night. You're going to hear about it at the Quickie Mart today.
Yeah. Like teams like Montreal and Toronto, like players will leave there and then do way better in other cities. And they'll be like, what do you think it is? It's like, I was just, in like the second period, I missed a pass and I was just obsessed with it. I knew there'd be 50 articles before I left the locker room and that they were going to follow me out to my car and then write articles about how I was drunk while I was playing or something. And I can't even address it to disprove it. Like they just make shit up. It's like fucking playing for the Patriots, I'd assume, because Toronto is an enormous city, bigger than Boston, and they're all fucking obsessed. But anyway, that's enough hockey. Kyle, you're a little darker in the light.
Yeah, everything got shut off. All the lights got shut off. So I had to quickly reboot everything. I was gonna say earlier, I just spilled so much Dr. Pepper.
That sucks.
Where's the fucking plus button? There it is. I was gonna say to our viewers out there, if you want to take part in the cream of mushroom soup challenge, you have to show the can on camera, all right, to show that it has not been altered in some way. I need to see the bottom. I need to see the top. I need to see this poppy thing has not been popped at all. This one's a little springy because I've been squeezing the fuck out of this bitch. I need to see there's no dents. One-handed. Don't care if it's your right or your left. If this thing leaves the camera frame and you start getting out the vice grips, I'm going to know what happened. But one-handed, you got to pop this son of a bitch. All right? It's got to pop.
Do you think you could do it with two hands right now?
I know where this is going. I will not be manipulated.
I want to see it though.
The answer is absolutely. I could pop this with 2 hands. And
I believe you.
I know you don't, and I don't care. But yeah, you got to do it with 1 hand, which is something that I apparently cannot fucking do. I don't think I can do it
with 2 hands. I'm asking myself, if I combine the strength of my paralyzed hand with my broken fingers, could they together destroy a can of soup? I don't think so.
I don't know. It'd
These
probably
are
be
some
way
bullshit
easier.
hands we're working with here.
It'd probably be way easier to just break one of these, right? A full one, like a soda, because it's already carbonated and it kind of wants to pop, I would imagine.
That does seem like it's working in your favor.
Whereas like the can of soup, and the can of soup is a lot more rigid. It's thicker. Like it doesn't make the tinny little crushy sound of this. I don't even know if I have any soup. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, Taylor's a shot. Are you still doing all those farmers carries?
I'm starting up again because I finally got my basement finished, and so
right.
I got to move all my sectional furniture and my TV and my entertainment system all back in there. So yeah, I'll probably kick that up probably next week. I've been messing with all my workouts for a while, like trying new ones. I just got bored of the same shit over and over, and so now I'm like doing a lot more like a la carte, where it's like, all right, I'm bored to shit of the seated row. I need to still hit my upper back though. So okay, I'll do the T-bar row, or I'll do the chainsaw dumbbell row on the bench, or something like that. And that's been making it a little more, fun. I'm getting I ebb and flow with my like interest in it as other hobbies come and go. And it's like the last week or so, I've been amping up a lot more back into the lifting, like watching a lot of, and like, funny enough, like More Plates, More Dates, I never really watched much of his channel, but I started watching it, and I started like looking for like the workout tips. And then the more it was, like, I'd find myself watching a video where he's like, check out this gay pre-workout that only losers use. And I'm like, yeah. And then I'll watch that. And it's so interesting. All the, like, his depth of knowledge, like preaching to the choir, obviously, you guys know way more. His depth of knowledge is insane.
I've watched so much More Plates, More Dates that Derek's vocabulary seems normal to me. Like, it's like, oh, this isn't even an efficacious dosage of whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's the thing people say.
Yeah. I like in the beginning, like, he seems to have like some go-tos where he's like, this protein powder, how about you just drag your balls across my face and then fuck my pretty little mouth? How about that? How about, instead of giving me this, how about you fuck my tight little mouth? Usually not that obscene, but
no, yours is good. I see where you're going with it. Yeah, he's like, he was so insulted by G Fuel. They put like 1 milligram of something in it, and he's like, "You're assuming that your buyer, your customers are too stupid to read this label." He went off the charts with it. It's hilarious to me.
Yeah, I did like the G Fuel one because everyone and their mom is sponsored by G Fuel, and for him to just be like, it's terrible. Like, it is worse than a full sugar Monster Energy almost.
So he's Greg Doucette and More Plates, More Dates share a lot of subscribers, I would say. And Greg Doucette came out with a pre-workout, and it's very similar to Derek's. Like, it has good dosages, and it's good. Although it has one thing. Is it beta alanine? Do I have that right, Kyle? Do you know? Apparently, it gives you
stuff that just makes you itchy.
That's the
it gives you an itchy butthole. And Derek's subs are going nuts on how it, like, the only difference between the two is that the itchy butthole compound that he added to it. And Greg's defending the itchy butthole compound that he put in there, and I'm enjoying the whole back and forth.
Yeah, that beta alanine is the worst. I don't know why people
don't like it.
It doesn't make you lift
some
harder.
People like it. Well, I guess if you use the right amount, which is a ton, you get a 3% benefit. Greg argues that the benefits start before the maximum efficacious dose, and then you might get a 1% benefit from it. In the world of competitive sports, going from a 400 to a 404-pound bench matters. And it's like, I guess.
Yeah, if that's the person he's preaching to, someone trying to edge out another 1% on their competitive amateur, bench or whatever for powerlifting. But for the average person, even someone who's really into lifting, like, are you getting that much out of it? I remember when I would use it, because it was like when I first started lifting more, I was like, okay, this is what you do. Everybody does pre-workout. And I remember after like months of that being like, the thing I dread more than the workout itself is that tingly, like starting to almost panic feeling of like, I need to start moving right now. I have to start moving. It was awful. Like that. I talked about the time I did LIT, that pre-workout, and it had like 350 grams of milligrams of caffeine and a bunch of beta alanine. And taking that and being so on edge that I couldn't lift because like I just paced for hours, just paced around like talking to myself until it went away. It was like a bad drug experience. So I'm never doing beta alanine. That was the last time I did the beta alanine shit. Never again.
I should have used that today. I just got out of the gym right before this show. I spent 3 hours doing a workout that should have taken half that.
You're just fiddling around, taking like 5-minute breaks between sets.
Maybe if I had an itchier butthole or something, I'd have got my ass in gear and a little less Facebook Messenger, a little more pump and iron.
I'll do that where it'll be like, all right, I'm making pretty good time. Let me take a couple minute break between my next sets. I'm gonna shoot a puck into all 4 corners of my little target thing. And then it's like 12 minutes later and it's like, this isn't going to happen, Taylor. You just go back and start lifting again. But that's nice when you accidentally take a really long break, you go back and it's like, I could add some more weight here. You know?
Then you start wondering if you're cheating. Like, oh, I see. Last time I lifted 115, 125, 135, for example. All right. How does that go if you don't rest 7 minutes between sets or something stupid like that?
Not as easy.
yeah.
But it doesn't really matter too much as long as you have the time to do that. And I like that sometimes. Like sometimes I like just hammering out the workout in 90 minutes or so. And other times like I like really taking my time and fucking around. Or like if I feel like I still have a little more in the tank at the end of the workout, I'll be like, well, then you didn't really have a very effective workout, did you? And so I'll be like, all right, well, what is it? Push day? All right, I'm going to fuck around with more tricep push downs until like my triceps burn. Or I'm going to, do more body weight dips until like I really am shaking on the way up.
Body weight dips, they're the last exercise I do, and they're nice because body weight dips are like the pull-ups of push day. They get everything. And it's like your whole workout can just be going okay. And it's like, all right, this is the money run. And then we're going to do tricep. I meant to say dips. We're going to do dips until we can't do dips anymore. And then we'll do that 2 or 3 more times. And by the time it's finished, your whole workout went well because you fucking crushed it on the dips. Dips will get it. Oh, did you not have great delts, chest, tries? Dips, bitch. Yeah, by the time you finish all these dips, you'll have a good workout. So
yeah, that reminds me, that guy we were talking about from the patron, the super soldier Nolan. He was, I was asking after him, like, so what are your most like impressive lifts that you do? And clearly he's excels at pushing because he's like, well, I do weighted dips, and I can do 135 pounds attached to my waist, and then I can bang out 2 or 3 dips like that. And I weigh 275. So yeah, it's like a 408-pound dip or something I can get up to. And it's like, that's absurd. Like where's this poor dip stand? That
I wonder what he'd do on my dips. Like what would I do, a squat rack, the bar that you would use if you failed, the dips attached to the side of that. Can he even do 500-pound dips? I don't know.
Towards him, he'd have to like put him towards the middle of the rack, and then
he's got to be on something pretty fucking sturdy because he's a big dude. Like I think he's like close to 300 pounds, maybe. And then he's like strapping on another 230. Did he say?
130. So he got
130,
like low 400 pounds of him.
Okay, that's a lot more reasonable than now that I think about it.
Still heavy.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a lot. It's incredible amount to be doing for weighted dips.
You're not doing that on a $65 dip stand from Amazon.
No.
That would be incredibly dangerous.
Oh, it would just fold right out, like like a tin can. Well, that guy's impressive. If he did some cutting, he'd just be a monster. Probably.
Oh, I mean, Show's almost over, but I watched Juji's Gym Tour. Have you guys seen that?
It's awesome.
That is thorough. That video, I think it went 4 or 5 sessions to make it from beginning to end. But I guess if you had a cost no object gym, that might be exactly where you land. Like budget didn't seem to be part of the equation at all. And
no, he's doing it as a business too. You know, it's his livelihood, so it makes a lot of sense.
And a lot of the stuff like is just clearly there for variety, like Kyle said, to make it more videos, and that's. Like, that would be such a fun place to work out. You could do 15 pull days, never touch the same machine twice. Everything's new. Like, it would be sick.
Do you want that though? Don't you want to hit the same thing every like, and stay consistent so that you're actually like, stay consistent with your workout? Like if you're going to do like,
that's true.
I like to make progress in a thing. I like to change the weight and make it go up. I also value free space more than he seems to. He has a 4,000 square foot building that he has packed so you can barely walk around. And, to me, that gym's even better if he sells 4 machines.
I could see myself. I agree with you there. Like having a little more pace around, like open space would be good. So it doesn't feel quite so commercial. But like, I could definitely see myself structuring like a PPL split where it's like, all right, I have these like static compound lifts, like 2 or 3 of those that I always do. And then, 5 accessories that I do as well. And you can mix and match those a little more. As long as you're still like hitting exhaustion by the end of it. That would be fun.
He did sell me on the machines though. He'd be like, this machine is made by Panzier, whatever it is. They're the people that also do the upholstery for Lamborghinis. And it has like detailed stitching and arches, like spider webs and shit. And I'm like, God, that it just looks so high end. And you can't touch it, but I feel like it touches like a Lamborghini steering wheel or something. Like it's that. What is that high-end material called? I forget.
I watched his video with Eric Bugenhagen, that maniac who takes the exact opposite approach to equipment, where Eric is like, I use the absolute worst equipment. And he's like, he went to Juji's gym and he was like, this is too much, man. This is too much. Let's go get a workout in. And so he had them go outside and do bear crawls in the yard and like see how far they could throw rocks. And like, it was just like a funny little like FU where it's like, we're going to get a real workout in, Juji. Look at this pile of rocks. We're going to do rock sit-ups, rock crush. And that guy's hilarious.
I watched Juji do a workout where they were just running across rocks for time. What? This is just ankle sprain practice. Like, what are you doing?
Doesn't make any sense.
What exercises are you even working? But
his channel is so much better since Tom left. Like, way better. I was never a fan of Tom. I thought he detracted from every episode or every video he was in because it was so obvious that he wanted to be like an equal part. When I think both of you said, more Kyle, like that. Like, no, you're the sidekick guy. You should be holding the camera. The Olympian-looking guy whose upper body weighs 200 pounds that can do standing backflips. Like, he's the guy. And there'd be videos where it's like Juji and some other mountainous guy doing grip strength. And it's like he would just angle in and be like, my turn. Everybody look at me now. And I edit it. And so it's going to be a equal parts time for the average dude. It's like, I'm not here to watch
to see Juji, Brock Lesnar, and Woody's Gamertag do benching.
Yeah.
2 of these things belong together.
If I was in a video with Juji, I would be like, dude, I'll hold the camera, man. Like, I know I'll make jokes from behind the camera. That's what I'll do. No one wants to watch my lame ass lifts, when this.
You're pretty strong, but
well, he is. I would like for him to get Brad Shaw in that gym, the giant strong man. I'm surprised they haven't done a collab, but we should probably call it because I know very soon we have to start